Okay. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Emma Andrews. I am an intuitive, medium, and intuition teacher. So I work one-on-one with clients in person and virtually throughout the week. And I also teach intuition. So this year I was in Dublin teaching intuition. I was in New York, really all up and down the East Coast, Pennsylvania, Virginia, uh, Vermont, um, and gosh, North Carolina. So I love teaching intuition. And one of my favorite things to teach is my intuition development course, which starts in 1 month. That's the intuitive method. So if you enjoy tonight's workshop, um, reach out if you have any questions about learning more and signing up for the intuitive method. It's a 12-week course that takes you step by step to develop your intuition, to work. It challenges you to practice with each other. And it's just really fun. I love it. I love teaching it so much. Um, and I think people really enjoy it. Martha, can Martha gives a thumbs up? Megan, I can't see, but I think she'd give a thumbs up.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, so that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm so passionate about intuition because um, my journey to in developing my own personal intuition has been so transformative in my life. Um, and it has really been a journey to come home to myself and to know myself, and also to like grow in connection to spirit. Um, and I was talking about this with a client recently, how like um, growing up when I was younger, I felt alone a lot. And I think that's a common thing for a lot of highly sensitive people to feel alone, and to feel kind of different. Um, but ever since I really started working on developing my intuition, I haven't felt alone. And it's because we develop a relationship with ourselves, and not just ourselves, but also um, like our true selves are 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 our souls, right? And our souls aren't these things that exist individually. Our souls are connected to all of spirit, all of creation. So, and my husband was asking me about this recently. He was like, "Is your intuition, is it you or is it something else?" And I was like, "It's kind of both. It's like creation. It's like the voice of creation, which when you get to you at the deepest level, is, right?" And the more you develop that inner voice for yourself, the more like spirit and creation, God can speak through your consciousness. Um, and it is just one of the joys of my life to ha experience it every day. And I'm here to share what I know and what I've learned, and maybe learn from you all as well. I'm definitely not coming here having all the answers, or knowing everything about intuition, um, but I know a little bit, and I want to share it. I want to share what I've learned with you all. So, um, so first we'll start with what intuition is, and then we can get into your sensory superpower and how we can work with it and discover it um, for ourselves. So intuition is the most broad way I can describe it is information that comes into our awareness from beyond our brain. So a lot of people receive intuitive information all day long, but they might not know that that's what they're receiving. They might not say, "Oh, that was my intuition that told me to go get a drink." at this bar, or oh, that was my intuition that told me it was time to leave the party. We get information from energetic information all day long. If you have a pet and you listen to your pet, you're not necessarily, mentally, you could be mentally, coming up with the things, but if you're able to tap into like that higher sensitivity when you're with your pet, then you're receiving energetic communications from your pet on, oh, I think his tummy hurts, or I think he wants a walk. Even if you're not seeing them or receiving that direct visual information, you can still get that information, and we do it all the time. Um, Another example is, you know, when we're making decisions about who the kind of people we want to hang out with. If we just get a funny feeling with a certain person, or if we feel really good when we're around another person, that might not necessarily be because of information we've processed mentally about them. Often it's energetic. Um, so we do it all day long. It's a natural and normal part of being human, connecting and receiving intuitive information. And as humanity as a whole is moving towards uh, a more intuitive state, we're kind of coming out of this. It's a kind of a painful separation happening now, but we're coming out of this old way of like this sort of scientific, analytical, constantly mental, like productive, which we can see in like our capitalism, um, the capitalist society that many of us live in. Um, and that's really, it's not working. We're doing too much of that. And so many people's third eyes are opening and expanding right now because we're needing to bring the planet back into balance. And intuition is a natural state for humans. And bringing it back to animals, animals um, are highly intuitive. Like I have a little bunny, and uh, I don't know how long he's going to live, but I'm a little nervous having a bunny because I just feel like they're very fragile, and I'm not like banking on him living for a very long time because it's my first bunny. And anyways, and I was just sitting there with him, and I was like, he's not worried about eating something and it not agreeing with him and hopping off to bunny heaven. He's not worried about that. He's not like thinking about it. He's just like doing him, you know? And that's how animals are. Um they're just energetic beings, They just uh love to be themselves, and they're not mental, right? So developing your intuition is a journey to you're using your brain, but it's not using it for analyzing or processing information. You're using your brain to receive energetic and supportive guidance from the universe and from your higher self, which to me is kind of the same thing. Well, they're from the same place. Um, so, um, Intuition, it's a very broad word, but we can use our intuition many, many, many different ways. We can use it when we make decisions. We can use it to communicate with loved ones who've died. We can use it for creativity, for art, for dance, for self-expression. We can use it for dreaming, for the future. Dreaming about a better world together. Um, we can use it to receive information and guidance on things that we need support for and with. Um, so there's many, many ways that we can use our intuition. And intuition is also like my goal as an intuitive is to have to bring through the most accurate information possible. So what I'm going to be teaching you tonight and what I teach in my course are the things that I've found to help make your intuition as accurate and to bring through the most information, like the most consistent and the most accurate information possible and clear. I really like things to be clear and as accurate as possible. So there are some really important key aspects to that. You know, the first is raising your vibration and being able to tap into higher perspectives for your life and for the universe because intuitive information, it comes from source, it comes from spirit, the universe, and that space is vibrating at a really um, fast and high vibration. Um, like from this place, in this place, a lot of the things that we're concerned about on Earth don't really exist in the same way, like fear, like death is a really human concept. They see it a very different way from spirit. Um, they have a different perspective on death. They have a different perspective on pain. They have a different perspective on a lot of these things that we think are shitty or horrible or whatever our mindsets are. So, working with your intuition is also the process of opening up your perspectives on things, widening your perspectives, allowing in other um, insights that you wouldn't think of or that haven't been pre-processed in your brain. Um, because it's not coming from your brain. It's not coming from your thoughts, right? Um, and that's one of the ways you can know that you're receiving accurate, intuitive information is when you are surprised by the information that comes through, or if it feels really random, or you don't understand it, then that is a green light to me that it's not actually your thoughts because you haven't had a chance to like process it and like come to an understanding mentally that most of us are used to doing. Um, is this making sense to everyone so far? Yeah, yeah, great. Um, so tonight we're going to be talking about your sensory superpower. And I was so excited to learn about my sensory superpower because when I was first starting out, because I had, talking about limited perspectives, I had a limited perspective on psychic intuitive information. I thought that like psychic information or intuitive information was like visions and that you get sort of that they're very strong, that you get sort of pushed back on your back, and there's no denying, like really clear. I thought they had to be really clear, visual, um, like in your face. And and actually, that's not how most people receive intuitive information. Most people are not actually clairvoyant, at least from all the I've taught this class like maybe 25, 30 times, and most people aren't clairvoyant. There's one that most people, that I would say almost all people are, like 80% of people, the sense that their intuition uses to communicate with them is clairsentience. So it is feeling in the body sensations and getting information through the felt sense in the body. Um, and this is really interesting to me, and this is why I love teaching this class because it's like, how do you think intuition should be? How do you think your intuition comes through for you? Let's set that aside and experience it for real and get that data, get that information, and then use it to trust it when it comes through. Like use it to like better know yourself, better know how that information is going to come through in the future. Um, so I had this idea, I had this perception about intuition that it was going to be visual, that it had to be really strong and like be undeniable. Also that it had to like make sense to me, like that I get all the pieces of the picture at once and I'm like, this is how it is, and I know exactly how it's all going to happen or how it's all going to work. Often that's not the case. Often we get little puzzle pieces. And often it is very soft and subtle because it's the mind and the ego that is typically the loud voice in our midst, telling us stories, making us feel urgency about things. Um, so when I was learning about intuition, when I was developing my intuition, when I was like really wanting to get better at it, I had to let go of those ideas of how I thought it should be and let go into how my system, my body really wanted to receive the information. Like, how is it happening naturally for me? It's not like the movies. It's not like maybe how I've seen other people do it. How is it working for me and my system? Because our intuition communicates to every single person differently. It will communicate to you different from your friend. Every single person gets the information in a unique way. Um, and also like the kind of information you receive is also uh subjective, but maybe that's not the right word. It's personalized. So, an example I like to give for this is um, when you are, hi, Ingrid. We're just talking about intuition.
Amazing. Sorry to be late.
So, an example I like to give about, oh, I've lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Anyone help me out?
You were talking about how we have like personalized experiences, that they're all unique.
Yes, thank you, Paulina. Yeah. So we all have the way we receive intuition is unique, and also like the kind of information we'll receive is totally unique. An example I like to give about that is like if one person, let's say we have two clairvoyant individuals, so they receive information through visual images or symbols. One person might see a spider and love spiders. Like maybe she has a pet spider. I love the cute little spiders on Instagram that like live in little houses and they're really cute. So one person might have that perspective on spiders. They might love them. They might symbolize like uh, journeying into mystery and rebirth, or it might have like that kind of uh, energy for them. And then another person might tap into their intuition and see a spider, and to them that might mean hell no. So that's just an example of how personalized the intuitive information is and how important it is that we get into a practice and relationship with ourselves. And this is like a work for a lifetime. Like this isn't something that I'm n not expecting to ever be done learning about my intuition or learning about um, different ways it can come through or what it means for me. So this is something that we're always going to be exploring if we want to, if we choose to, and learning more about. Because I can't, you can't go to some, then if I had those two, let's say one of those were my students, and they both said, "What does a spider mean, Emma?" I would say, "What does it mean to you? What does a spider mean to you?" That's where the answer is. I don't know. I don't have that answer. I'm not you. So, um, that is actually one of the really exciting parts about working with your intuition is you get to like learn more about yourself. What do I like? What do I not like? What does this mean for me? And explore it that way. And you learn more about yourself. You learn your likes and dislikes, which supports you in making decisions in your life. Um, so when we're talking about your sensory superpower, we're talking about um, two things. We're talking about how the sense you use the most in your life to receive information, and also that this physical sense um, is how your intuition will typically communicate with you first. So we have five physical senses, five main physical senses. I think we have many, many, many other senses that scientists are just starting to learn more about. But we have the five main physical senses, right? Sight, smell, sound, hearing, taste, touch. So we have these five main senses. Now, for our energetic, intuitive bodies, these five physical senses are reflected. So for sight, there's clairvoyance. So this is like seeing images, symbols. There's clairaudience for sound. So this is when you're not hearing a physical sound like sound waves, physical sound waves coming into your ear. It's when you're hearing sounds or words or phrases from spirit. Um, and it gets easier. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to distinguish between what is your physical senses, what is your mind, you know, doing stuff, and then what is your intuition. And you'll get good at it because intuitive information has a specific feel to it, um, a very like unique feeling to you. And so the more time you hang out in it, the more comfortable it becomes and the more familiar you get with being in that state of receiving and being intuitive. Um, so these five physical senses are reflected into the your intuitive world, into the energetic world. And most people have one or two sense that they predominantly use to receive information about the world around them. So for me, I'm very visual. I love color. I love light. I worked as a photographer for a long time. Um, I love art. Like I love beautiful things around me. So these are all signs that I'm a highly visual person. Like visual things around me bring me joy, and I focus on that a lot. I focus on the visual elements a lot. Other people are very audient. Actually, my husband, Chris, he loves smell, which is weird to me. Never think about smell. But to him, that's like his thing. Like, um, when he walks into a room, like smells it, just like a dog. But we all have the way that we like receive that input, from the external world. So I just want you to think about this for yourself. Like when you walk into a room, what is it that you notice first? Is it the sounds? Is it like the air on your skin or the feeling of your clothes? Is it the light or the colors or the furniture? Um, is it the sound of people talking or the sound of cars or music? What is it that you tend to where you tend to put your focus when it comes to the that sensory input? And you can even just imagine for a moment like walking outside, like walking out your front door. What do you notice first? If you have a journal next to you, you could just make a little note of that. What are you noticing first? And we're going to do an exercise all together in a little bit to really feel into and experience our sensory superpower. And that's going to be really fun. All right, good job, everyone. So, there are two ways that you can use your sensory superpower to become more intuitive. The first is to recognize it as like an anchor for you in your life, to recognize it like as a superpower, like as a tool that you have in your life. The physical sense as a tool and an anchor. Once you have that information, I love sound, you know. I'm a auditory person. Then you can spend your days making sure you have pleasant, delicious music and sounds around you all the time. And when you need to become present, you know first that you'll go to the sounds around you. You'll listen for the birds. You'll listen for children playing on the street. You'll connect with the sounds around you. And that will support you in maintaining presence for longer periods of time throughout the day. And that's really important for um, receiving intuitive information because when we are present, if you all have something to write down, I also want you to write this down too. When you are present, you naturally receive intuitive information. It just happens. You don't need to think about things. You don't need to force it in your mind. It just happens. When you are present, intuitive information naturally flows into your awareness. So, your sensory superpower is a tool to become present. It's like a shortcut that you can use to become present whenever you need to, which is probably a lot if you're like me. You might need to do it all day long. So for me, I know I'm a highly visual person. So when I am working on becoming present, when I'm working with clients, I am constantly looking around for things around me that are pleasing. And I fill my space, my office, my house with things that are pleasing to me visually. And I like to keep things clean. I like to keep things in their place because I know how much I rely on that sense. Like I love to have things that are colors that I like around. Um, or I look for colors around that I like if I'm out and about or if I'm driving, I'm enjoying the visual of it. And that helps me to maintain presence. Now, the second thing that your superpower can help you with is for understanding how your intuition is going to speak to you when it comes through. So if we have an idea like I had when I was first starting out that all intuitive information was like had to be this like really strong visual or something like that. However you might think intuitive information comes. Maybe you think it's like hearing words in your ear. Um, if you're thinking that, then the intuitive information is going to come through and you're going to be like, nah, that's not it. It's supposed to come through as, a bolt of lightning on my front yard. So if you know, okay, I know I'm clairsentient. I know I receive information through the felt sense in the body. Because when I did that exercise with Emma, that was what I was noticing the most. So if you know that when you're out at the grocery store and you're like, what food should I get? I don't want you to be like in your head trying to hear voices or see images. I want you to be in your body and sensing, am I magnetized to this oatmeal or do I want to leave it on the shelf? How do I notice physically in my body that I'm responding to this? Or when you ask a question, when you pose a question, then you can go to the body, and sense the information from the body. Okay. Any questions before we go to our little exercise? Nope. Okay. So this is a really fun exercise. I'm so excited to share this with you all today. What we're gonna do is we're gonna discover our intuitive yes and no. And I'm gonna ask you to trust me to take you on this little journey. Um, it's gonna be just like a short little meditation. Maybe 5, 10 minutes. And we're going to just be open-minded and curious and listening to what comes through, no matter what. We're just gonna notice it and not judge anything, okay? Okay, so we're gonna do a little meditation. If you want to lay down, you can lay down. If you want to turn your camera off, you can turn your camera off. Just get comfy. You can be sitting, you can be laying down. And I just want to invite you to arrive wherever you are. Notice the what's under you, what's holding you up. If it's a chair or a bed. Just noticing, feeling the sense of gravity, that sense of being held by something. Allowing the muscles to soften. Whatever has been being clenched or tight through the day, inviting it to soften. And so now we're going to do, I want you all to imagine the most beautiful stairs that you can going down. You're standing at the top. It could be spiral stairs, straight, stone or moss, wood, whatever comes to your mind. I want you to just go with it. If it feels like it's your imagination, imagining it, good. That's great. You're doing a great job. Stick with it. So, seeing those stairs in front of you, and there's 10 steps. We're starting at the top. I want you to notice what's around you, around the steps. You might see it, feel it, hear it, smell it. Taking a step down onto the ninth step, sensing your body relax. Stepping onto the eighth step, trusting, letting go, following your imagination. Stepping down onto the seventh step, feeling connected, feeling inspired, feeling free to explore the intuitive world. Stepping onto the sixth step, breathing. And the fifth step, really feeling relaxed. All your cares and worries falling away. Stepping onto the fourth step, feeling strong, trusting yourself. Stepping onto the third step, trusting your intuition, trusting whatever comes. The second step, feeling so relaxed, so connected, so open to guidance and support. And then the first step, stepping down onto the first step. And I want you to look around where you ended up. Look around, listen. What do you notice around you? What do you hear around you? What do you sense? Beautiful, beautiful work. I'm so proud of you. It's not always easy, and you're doing it. Good job. So now you're in this space around you that you're sensing and feeling. It could just be you might not be sensing much. You might not sense much around you at all. That's okay. I want you to notice that. Hey, I just feel like I'm floating around in space. I feel like I'm in a big, black hole. That's information. You've got information. I'm not noticing much. So wherever you are, um, we are going to call in some information. I'm going to ask for some information now. And you all are feeling very relaxed, very open, very centered. So our first question is, please express to me an intuitive, my intuitive yes. Please express to me my intuitive yes. Now we can let go of the question, and I want you to just observe. No need to think about it, analyze it. What do you notice? Do you see, hear, feel, smell, taste, or your intuitive yes? Beautiful work, everyone. Just noticing. Now, please express to me my intuitive no. What does a no feel like, sound like, smell like, taste like, look like? My personal intuitive no. Let me see it. Noticing without judgment. It's almost like you're a secretary for yourself and you're just writing down what you see. You're just taking note of what you see. You're not there to edit. You're not there to make the decisions or have the ideas. You're just there to transcribe. Everybody deserves their own secretary. Okay, good job, everyone. Now we're going to go back to the yes. So please express to me my personal, intuitive yes. How do I know it's a yes? Amazing. And then we'll do the no one more time. Please express to me my intuitive no. What is there? What do you notice? It might be subtle, might be really subtle. Just notice it. Notice what's subtle. Notice what's there. Beautiful work, everyone. Now, thanking yourself, thanking your higher self, thanking spirit for supporting you. You can slowly, slowly, slowly come back into this space, back into your body, and find a paper or journal, something to write with. And I want you to write what you noticed for each of those things, even if it felt really subtle. Like, even if it was as subtle as like one thing I felt, you know, nothing. And the other thing I felt a little bit more than nothing or less than nothing. Like, if that was what it was, write it down because that is information. And the work of becoming more intuitive is training yourself to really interpret subtle information. And then it becomes less subtle as it gets stronger. Okay, so everyone take a minute, jot it down what you noticed, even if it feels silly or even if it didn't feel strong. Please just write it down so that you have it. And then we can talk about it, talk about how that was for everyone.
Um, I can jump in and offer something, Emma, if that's okay.
Of course, Megan, go ahead.
Right. I don't know why, but when you were walking us down the staircase, it was actually in this really old, beautiful house with a big foyer, and then there was a music room. And so